everyone.
How's everybody doing?
I'm so excited to record today. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. So yesterday I was excited, and then I had a bad dream, and I woke up with an attitude. So there we go.
Oh God, no. Well, you know, even though earlier today my voice didn't sound like I was excited to record, but I have been all week excited. I was just exhausted. Earlier today I did individual sales for my patties, so I'm just gonna have to like fall back from that for a while, just deal with catering, because dealing with multiple orders from different people, it's a lot. Not saying the customers are annoying or anything like that, because the customers I've been getting have been good so far. They put their orders in.
It's the work.
It's the work standing on my feet for long hours. Like, girl, this back and these hips do not lie. I'm 35.
Yeah,
I can't.
To the 30s.
I can't do it. I mean, I've always had lower back problems. Like, I can't sit down or stand up for too long. But like yesterday, and then I was babysitting my nephew, so he's worked within himself. I just threw things on TV to keep him entertained while I was working. But yes, so that's why I sound a little I had sounded a little groggy earlier. But I've been excited for the whole week. I took the time. Well, if you guys haven't watched our last episode on social media,
I know it's long, but it's so worth watching.
It's worth watching. We threw some gems in there, and was super excited for our guest that came on. So shout out to her. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, she was bomb.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, so when this drops, Thanksgiving would have been a couple days ago. Thanksgiving with my family is always fun as shit, but it's always chaos. We have short attention spans. There's a bunch of kids running around. There's just a lot going on. But this Thanksgiving was actually pretty dope because my little cousin suggested doing a PJ themed.
Oh, that's comfy.
Thanksgiving, so everybody's just comfortable, relax, enjoy some food, enjoy some games. We really try to like implement a lot of games and like have people like interact with each other as opposed to being on the phone and taking photos and doing all this shit. That barely worked. You know, I had to threaten some of the kids to play. Unless there was money involved, nobody gave a fuck.
Because I didn't come here to play, I came here to eat.
Yeah, and take videos and take pictures. But I think they'll appreciate it when they get older, because I was them at one point. Like, you know, when I was their age, I didn't want to like play games and socialize with the older people. But as you get older, you start to realize the value of spending time with family. So yeah, I had to threaten them, you know, but they played. Yeah.
My Thanksgiving was well. I was tired though, exhausted, because honestly this whole week I've been prepping patties for different people. Like last Saturday, someone ordered 40 patties. I made it. Then
was it a catering order?
Yeah. And then this Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, women have put an order in. It wasn't a lot, but you know, I just realized I was doing back to back to back. But I still spaced myself out. But Thanksgiving went well. You know, it's kind of chaotic. You know, a whole bunch of family. You know, Haitians are allowed, West Indians are allowed, foreigners are allowed in general. We're talking. So
people, if you were to like just walk into the space and you didn't understand the language, you thought niggas is about to fight.
Yeah, even me sometimes they be loud. I'm like, yo, why y'all so loud? Because it's just, and it's usually the men that be so loud. I'm like, oh my, and then
that's the problem.
Yes, and adding on to the kids playing around too, they're loud. So I'm like, like my sensory was just like, oh my god, this is too much. But I like the fact family was together or whatever. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Like, you know, and that honestly, that's the only holiday we'll come together. Thanksgiving, and then obviously on New Year's, because my mother wanted to congregate all her children together because she has to have a family meeting for the year. Either she scolds you or she tells you what you need to do this year, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
This congregation, this meeting is for what?
She does it every year. She's been doing it since I was a kid. The whole family, like intermediate family, like my brothers, sister.
On Thanksgiving?
No, on New Year's. Those are the only time we'll be together. Christmas we don't congregate together because people just still go to work. I mean, once I have kids, obviously, I still love Christmas. Don't get me wrong. I still love Christmas, but we don't really celebrate it as a family per se. Yeah. A lot of people don't care for it in my family, but I know for a fact when I have my children, I want to do the lights. I'm going to do all that. Christmas trees going up probably before Thanksgiving. I don't care. Yeah. So it was fun. But
I'm gonna put a disclaimer. I have a little cold, so I'm not used to the feeling. But go ahead.
But yeah, it was good.
That's actually pretty cool. Honestly, we are big on Christmas because we get my niece, my brother's daughter, on Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day is like, we don't really give a fuck. But Christmas Eve, we go all out. We do dinner, we play games, we do like themed stuff, contests. and it's the intimate family. So like my sister, her kids, my siblings, and my mom.
That's cute.
And I make sure that it's like we stop with the gift shit because they're all older and they can buy their own
shit. And it's
shit.
too much money.
Yeah, and I think it takes away from actually just enjoying each other's space, enjoying each other's presence. So what we do is if gifts are ever involved, it's always like a Secret Santa, like Yankee swap situation.
I never done a Yankee swap, but it sounds fun. Yeah,
we do like a $20 limit, and then you just kind of buy whatever. But I'm excited. I don't think we have a theme yet, so y'all need to get on it. Get on it.
I feel like for tradition wise, when I get a bigger house, I definitely am going to do a Friendsgiving. You have to come. I know how you get. And I'll definitely probably do something on Christmas Eve with just friends.
Yeah.
And then Christmas Day will be with my children.
I will not be there. So just want you to know that because Christmas Eve is a non-negotiable.
Okay, yeah, you said that. You did say that, so I can't even fault you for that. No, you said that. So I know a lot of people, they do things on Christmas Eve. So I'll probably do it probably like a week before Christmas. So because I know a lot of people Christmas Day they don't do nothing, but Christmas Eve they do something with their family. Some people go to church too. So yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna fault you for that. But yeah, I still enjoy the holiday season, even though as an adult I don't care for it as much like a child would. And I mean, some people be like, Santa isn't real. I don't want to kill that for my children, but at the same time, I don't want to give them false pretenses. Like, nigga, I went to work, busting my ass. I'm Santa.
Oh my God.
I'm Santa. But no, I don't want to like not celebrate Christmas with them.
I'm obsessed with Christmas. I think I'm obsessed with Christmas, not for the gifts, because I don't get any gifts. Like, outside, if I was in a relationship, yes, but I'm excited about it because I can spend time with like my family. We have like real like intimate quality time, and I fucking enjoy that shit so much because I'm very like, I don't know how often you talk to your mom, but I don't talk to my mom on the phone often, or my nieces. Like it's like gradual. It's like text message here and there, maybe a FaceTime, whatever. I literally don't find it useful to be on the phone if I have nothing to add. Like just checking up on you is like, I know it sounds bad. It sounds so bad. But
you know what I get in the back of my head?
Being on the phone.
Me too. You know what I get on the back of my head? I was like, I don't. When I see people talk about, if I could just get one more call from my mom or something. And I'm like, eventually I know that time it will come. But I want to, my mother do work my nerves. But I do want to like take the time to appreciate the fact when she calls me, she's not calling me to bother me. Because sometimes she does call me for like the weirdest stuff. I'm like, 3 of your kids live like around the corner from me.
Yeah.
I'm always Brockton.
See, my thing is though, like, my mom's at an age where gossip is like the highlight of her life.
Literally.
And I just can't handle it. It's just like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I don't know if everybody's like, my mom is she's pretty old. Like, she's older.
Old.
Yeah, she's in her 70s.
My mother was
so, like, she stopped working years ago. Her sisters are older. She's the second oldest. So, yeah. Gossip is like the highlight. And so, of course, when she finds any good gossip and somebody's on the phone with her and decides that they want to talk to her, she's going to share that gossip.
They don't
and I'm very, like I said, I'm very protective of my energy. I don't like, because sometimes gossip is always good gossip. Almost 99% of the time it's like negative shit. Yeah. And I don't care to hear it. I don't really care. So, but I feel bad because like she just wants to tell somebody. She's like so excited to tell somebody about this gossip that she found out.
Once you're retired, they don't have. I'm saying they don't have. Sometimes they don't have nothing better to do. So, and even if you try to tell them here, do something to keep you active, they might do it. But most of the time, they're not gonna do it. So, their entertainment, her entertainment, might be like telling you something. You're like, I didn't want to know that.
I don't care.
But yes, guys. Like, you know what I noticed too on my way here? I was like, oh. It's November. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, November then came up. Blink of an eye. November pulled up, nodded its head, and is like, all right, catch y'all next year. And is literally about to leave. Like, the 29th is on Monday. Tomorrow's the 28th. And it's like literally like, November's done. November only carries 30 days. Yeah, 30 days. Yeah. So I'm like realizing like, this year flew by. I'm still trying to process 2020. I feel like there's a huge, you know how sometimes people try to ask you questions to recollect your memory and you draw a blank? Like 2020 is a whole blank. Because literally, if someone asks me, I literally have to ask myself, did I do it last year? Or 2019 or 2018? Because it's like 2020, it's a whole blur. Yeah. So, still trying to process 2020.
There's only one thing that I remember like vividly, like the date, time, the smell, the temperature, like everything else in 2021, you can forget about it. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, and here we are about to enter 2022. So I can't wait till we start discussing like our resolutions or whatever, what we look for.
Well, you kind of have an idea what I'm going to be doing, but
yeah, I'm excited. But to transition,
I mean, I can go on and on about my weekend because the weekend before. So never mind. It's a lot. I was about to say we usually record on this day, but we have to record earlier on last week, and then so like Saturday I did this, and it's a lot. But I spent time with family that I don't see often, and I'm obsessed with them. They're like, I just love my family. Y'all don't understand. If y'all only understood.
That's good.
Maybe not my dad's side so much. My mama's side, A1. I don't care.
I didn't say nothing. You know, there's always that ghetto side.
No, my dad's side is not ghetto. They're just weird. Whatever.
But yes, to transition, this week's episode will be on what's for me may not be for you. And as you know, me and Jessica are big on, we write our random topics that pop up in our heads and throw it in a jar and shake it up and randomly choose. So this week's episode that was chosen was what's for me may not be for you. And I remember when I wrote it down, I showed it to you, nodded your head like, that's a good one, because I think we forget, I know it was back in the summer when we were still on season 1.
Sweating in a small room with one fucking mic.
But we figured it out, y'all. We figured it out. No, but like, I really like this topic. I like all the other topics.
Oh, thank God you do, because I really didn't do any homework, so I was gonna just write off your coattails.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
So I like all our topics, but I like this one because I think, and it relates to social media too, because we look at things, we see things, and we're like, oh, I want that too. And I think it's natural for humans to want what somebody else has, but we don't know what it took them to get there. Some people did it through scamming, robbing, killing.
Joanne scammer.
You know, or some people literally took the time and energy and put the work in, and you're trying to find the easy way. I mean, it could work for you, it may not work for you. Or how people like to say, you know, I can give you the recipe, but it may not taste like mine. You know what I mean? So, and certain things may not be for you. So, like, that's another thing, like, for me growing up, used to irritate me when my mom used to try to compare me to somebody else's child. Like, you know, so-and-so's daughter, so-and-so's son is like, okay, that's great. But and that's what I'm going to learn. That's what I'm breaking as a generational curse. Do not compare my child with somebody else's child. It's not, comparison is not a good thing. Because then I'm going to put a pressure on my child that he or she does not need, making them feel as though they're not good enough because so-and-so's child is like at this prestigious school or whatever the case may be. And who knows, that child may be at a prestigious school, but may be suffering some crazy ass mental health issues because they have pressure on them because of their parents. So
can I just so everyone who knows me personally knows I have a cousin who I'm extremely close with, to the point where like we used to be dressed like twins. Like her mom is my godmother, so she used to dress us like twins all the time when we were kids. And I remember I just started college. My cousin was already like well into college. I think she was almost done actually. And she had like 2 years maybe, and she was killing it. She was like doing great in school. I think she had 2 jobs. She had her own apartment, and she was just killing it. And then there's me, who just had like a part-time job, and I was in school. And I remember I was deciding on whether or not to take a semester off or continue and try to like pick up my GPA, because I was smoking all the time, so I just didn't fucking do anything. And her mom caught me on, like, we were on the bus on my way to school, and her mom was on her way to work, and she was just like, you know, what's going on with you? Like, because my mom gossiping. She's like, do you know Jessica? It's a lot. Anyways, so my aunt decided she's gonna be the godmother and put me in my place. Not put me in my place, but kind of give me the motivational conversation, but it ended up being like the opposite, right? So she's just like, you know, your cousin's doing all these things. Like, she's like in school full time. She has 2 jobs. She has her own apartment. Blah blah blah. And she's doing great. Like, you can do it. Like, da 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 da. But I'm like, I'm not my cousin. We don't have the same motivational pushes or like, you know what I mean? And these are things that I like remember for the rest of my life, because I realized like, oh my God, this whole time everything in my life, because I was always compared to her, everything that she did, I tried to do the opposite of. So like when she started dating, I was like, I'm gonna be lit, because like, you know, of course, like in Caribbean cultures, dating at a young age is just not a thing, right? So,
they frown upon it, but once you get like 26, like, where's your significant other? I don't know. You told me I couldn't date for the last 10 years.
Like when she lost her virginity, I was like, I'm gonna wait until a year after she loses her virginity. And this motherfucking this one decides she's gonna lose her virginity a week before she turned 17. So I was still 16. So I was like, fuck. But it was just a lot. So there was like a lot of things that I just kept getting compared to, and I just really fucking hated it. And I think that's what, I'm not gonna say that was the cause of a lot of like issues, but I will say that it was like, I was so determined not to be the same person and just like be the opposite and create my own path that it hindered me in a lot of other areas in life. So what's for me is not for, like, what's her thing is not my thing. And I think parents need to understand that every child is different. My sister had come to that revelation around when the kids were like in their teens, like the oldest was in her teens, and she was realizing, okay, the discipline that I apply on one child is not going to be conducive to the other child. And when I seen that switch in my sister's head, I seen the relationship with her kids switch too. Like, it was better because the kids were like, okay, like, you're not treating me like how you treat this one. Granted, no kid wants to feel like they're different, but you are different and you should be okay and you should be happy about that. Like, own your differences, right? So when my sister realized, all right, I cannot like do what my mom did and treat us all the same, like all my kids the same. All 3 daughters have 3 different personalities, have 3 different outlooks on life, have 3 different ways of dealing with trauma, not trauma, but dealing with emotions, and whether negative or positive. So I definitely see like a change, and I was like, damn, I wish that was like my situation. I think I would have had a better relationship with, or had a better outcome, I guess.
And I think, of course, we're in no shape, form, or fashion are we blaming our parents, because like we always say in almost every episode when we do bring up our families, is because they dealt with us the best way they knew with the resources and tools they had. They didn't know better. You gotta remember, most of our parents,
my mom was a fucking beast. Like, she killed it with what she had and what she knew. Like, for somebody, like, my mom didn't go to school. Like, she didn't finish school. She was pulled out of school to help with the family. They lived in a small little island, not a lot of resources. So the more hands at home to help with the feeding and cleaning and cooking was better for them. So she was removed from school to help with that. So with the little bit of education that she had, she fucking killed that shit. She came to a whole nother country, didn't know the language, still made it, did what she had to do for her kids, and made no fucking excuses. So at the end of the day, like, she's a beast. She killed that shit. But again,
I mean, when we were in that moment, we couldn't stand it.
No,
it's like,
we didn't understand it.
Now that we're older, and I feel like all of us should try to do the same, unless like your parents did something real. Like, some parents do done fucked up shit to their children that maybe the relationship may be beyond repair. I'm not saying our parents are perfect, but they're still human too. The title parent is because they had kids, you know, and some people get the title, but they're not actually acting like parents. But like I said, you know, they were, you know, disciplining us and treating us the best way they knew how. Even as we got older, realized that was toxic as hell, and that wasn't helping my situation, because I used to hate it. Like, I remember being in church, one of the churches we were at, and my mother was trying to compare me to this one girl, and me and another college, a friend that I knew later, I ended up meeting later on in college, I knew this girl as well. Not knocking her, but my mother was quick to compare me to her. And then, like, I was like 15 at the time, and she got pregnant, and I'm like, oh, so I think I was trying to be funny. I don't think she hit me. She didn't hit me. I was too old. The girl ended up getting pregnant, so I'm like, so this is the same person you was comparing me to.
We don't know have the same childhood, because I have a story about that too.
Because it's like, you're comparing me to someone, what you see on the outside. You don't know what they're doing behind closed doors, and you don't know what they're going through. So it's like, don't compare me to this person. It's almost like, okay, as a small child, I may have compared my parents and be like, oh, I wish my parents were as fun as so-and-so's parents. But that's like, that's typical childhood things. Like, you may want your parents to be more fun or whatever. So my parents were always strict. So it's like, no. So, but to compare me to a whole nother human being, like, maybe you should be like so-and-so's daughter. I was like, no. Like, granted, I never had issues with the girl herself. I went to school with her. It's just that you were quick to compare me to her. Why not be more like her? Now she's pregnant. Now what? Silence.
Like, so you telling me I should get pregnant next? Is what you're saying?
My mother would knock my head.
I remember, like, my mom was like, school and home.
That's all.
Right? So I went to high school with my cousin, who I was always compared to, because, of course, she goes to this school, so you're going to this school, because then she can watch you.
That's the school I was supposed to go to.
I know. Thank God you did it, because I would have been worse. I would have been worse off.
I wasn't bad.
You know when you have a comfort, like, you have like a You don't.
We were supposed to go to Brighton, y'all. Well, I was supposed to go to that, and
I went because my cousin was there. That was the only reason why.
My mom was mad at Eve. It was me, you, a few other people.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a crew of us from Wilson going over. I was mad, and then here go my dad. Oh, I see a postcard from like Health Careers Academy. At the time, it was called that.
Did he know about the school?
They sent us like, I guess what they do, certain schools, if they're not fully in the BPS system, they're still their own entity. Yeah. They can send like little postcards for people, like parents to apply if they're interested. And that's what I was like, ooh, because he was like, what was the options? It was either Brighton, Westy, Snowden, or he said if I didn't get any, well, I would have gotten any of those because those were my 3 options that I chose. He said I was going to send you to Cathedral or back to Creole School. I said, hell no.
Oh my God.
And I heard Cathedral got ghetto. I don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, that's where I was supposed to go.
So yeah, of course my parents, well, when I say parents, my godmother was my like second mom. Mm-hmm. And vice versa to my cousin. So my mom and my aunt were like 2 peas in a pod. Their relationship is a direct reflection of my relationship with my cousin, who's also my god sister. Like they made it a point to have us be the same person. So of course I went to that school. My mom was like confident. She's like, Sandy's there, you're good. She's gonna watch your back. She's gonna make sure you're on your shit. So I told Sandy, I was like, please don't go straight home. I want to go to downtown with the hood rats. I want to do hood rat things.
Downtown was the spot though.
I want to do hood rat things with my friends. And my cousin's like, bet, say less. I don't think I didn't specify time. So that was my fault. So of course my cousin would have my back, but she got home. She was like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck time you were supposed to come home. And I was at home. And what my aunts and my mom used to do, so my mom, and this is just, I'm going off on a tangent, but you have to understand like the environment that was there. My mom took care of all the kids during the day while my aunts went to work. Then when my aunts come home from work around 3:30, my mom had already cooked like dinner, I guess, because you know, Caribbean people, they cook dinner at early. 11 a.m.
It's done.
Right? So when we're back from home from school, we have lunch, dinner. And then when my aunts come home from work, they have a proper meal. And they all sit at the table at my mom's house. And they eat, they catch up, they talk about their day. My mom gives them the spiel on the kids. And my mom goes to work. She does the part-time job. And so my house was there was never no adult in the house. Like there was always an adult. Because they kind of scheduled it that way. Mm-hmm. So then there's my aunts who are already home to watch us until we go to bed. My mom comes home from work and my mom's at work. So this day, Sandy decides she's gonna go straight home. Anyways, she walks in. I was like, "Oh, where's Jessica?" And my cousin's like, "Oh, she's on her. She's coming." It's like 30, maybe an hour later. I walk in before my mom gets home, and I see my aunt and my mom drinking their coffee and eating their food, judging the fuck out of me. And I was with my best friend at the time, and my mom was like, "Where were you?" I was like, "Oh, I was at school." She's like, "Well, I was with Sandy," and she's just like, "That's funny because Sandy came home a little while ago." And here comes my aunt. See, they start going to high school and they just think they're adults and they can just do whatever they want. And I was like, you need to mind your business, right? My mom was like, don't talk to your aunt like that. I'm like, but she needs to. Her daughter's pregnant. I didn't see my mom get up from the table ever. When I said this, she slapped the fuck out of me, like in front of everybody. And my friend looked at me and was like, I'll just see you at school tomorrow. And she left me. And my face was like to the side for like, I want to say like 10 minutes. Like I was so embarrassed. And my mom was like, you talk to your fucking aunt like that again, I will whoop your ass. But in my head, I'm like, she's in my business.
One of her kids was pregnant though?
Yeah, one of her kids was pregnant. But she was, I want to say she was in her like late teens, like going into 20. I don't know how old she was. But in my head, you want me to be this ideal child. But you're a flawed mother as well. You're trying to call my mom a flawed mom for not having control of me. But you're a flawed mom. They all were. Like,
you can't check foreigners. That's disrespectful.
My mom gave me the warning first. She was like, don't talk to your aunt like that. I'm like, but she needs to mind her business. That's why her daughter's pregnant. And I did not see my mom get up from that table.
Well, she's little. You didn't see her.
My friend didn't even see her get up from the table. She's like, yo, I legitimately did not see your mom get up from that table. And no, at the time, I saw my old people shrink. I want you to know that. Because my mom was a beast.
All shrink.
So not right now she's tiny and cute and quiet, but when she was raising us, she was not. She was like Miss Trunchbull. She was she was big and scary, and she didn't play. So yeah, and I remember like, you want me to be this person, but all of these kids, all of us are flawed. And when I say flawed, I don't mean like it's a bad thing. Like we all have our differences. We all see life different, do things in life differently, and you want me to be this person so fucking bad. And it's just like, why can't you just accept who I am?
No. Well, now that we know better, we know if and when we have children.
If and when you have children. That's not in my...
Okay. If and when I have children. No, I will. I'm still nervous. I have been having baby fever, but I do want to have children eventually. Shut up.
All my kids have kids. You know how... Never mind. Shut the fuck up, Jessica. Just carry on.
But no. Back to what we were saying. So, like, yes, for the what's for me may not be for you. It's like this thing, because I feel like you give yourself a false perception if while, like, looking at someone and assuming their life is good. Yeah. Or even if they sit down and tell you, like, the things that they have and what they did to get there, it sounds good.
Yeah.
It may sound easy, but if you were to do the exact same steps that they did, it may be hard for you because it's not meant for you.
Yep.
Hence the title of this whole episode, because I had to really tell my mom that, because there were a few times I had to tell her, like, Mommy, just because someone told you something worked for them doesn't mean it will work for you. Like, I had to tell her a few times, like, yes, you can take some of the advice they're giving you, because she's, like, really hot in the head. Like, literally someone can tell her, oh, this is what I heard. A lot of what Haitian parents, for those of you who are watching and listening right now, we all know a lot of our foreign parents like to get all their news on WhatsApp and YouTube. And then here they come telling, especially during COVID, we're still in COVID. But when COVID first hit, all these videos and all these text messages, right? My mother's like, oh, they said, do this and do that. I'm like, look, I'm not taking any concoction that's going to get me sick even more, have me sitting on the toilet. I'm going to be pissed. So I'm like, it may work for that person. It may not work for you. Stop running and trying to do things. And plus, you have high blood pressure and you're diabetic. You shouldn't be just taking random stuff anyways. So I had to tell her that. And my father's in the background, like, not egging me on, but agreeing with me. But my mother gets mad when my dad agrees with me, because she's like, oh yeah, all you do is agree with your daughter, da 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 da. And but I had to tell her, like, look, like, you come to us first, come to your children first with the things that you're hearing about, and we can correct and say, yeah, you can try it or not. Because I'm like, your health is a different story. You shouldn't be just taking anything and trying everything because it works for that person. No. But for me in my personal life, as a teenager, I would see, like, my friends being able to do certain things, and like I said before, my parents were strict, and them being able to go out, and I'm like 17, 18, but yes, 18 don't mean nothing in a Haitian household. That's just another number. Like, the fuck you mean?
If you under my roof, the age don't mean shit to
me. It don't mean nothing. 18 just means, I can sign paperwork, I don't need my parents around or whatever. They don't give a damn. The fact that I'm still under their roof, I'm still technically dependent on them. So if something was to happen to me, they still gotta call my parents. I have no say. But there's certain things, I can still do, because obviously at 18, there's really, in America, it's like you're considered somewhat an adult, but mindset is still young. Yep. So seeing my friends be able to do certain things, it got to a point where it's like, Peggy, we're not going to ask you because you're just going to say no. I got to a point where I told my friends, don't ask me if I can go anywhere at whatever time. The answer is going to be no. So you're wasting your time inviting me to your house party.
I remember getting my ass whooped for asking my cousin to ask my mom.
You still got your ass whooped.
This is my cousin's house.
They don't care.
My mom already told me, like, you're not sleeping at your cousin's house, right? And so I was like, yo, if you ask, my mom's gonna say yes. And my cousin's like, can Jessica sleep with us? Can she sleep over? My mom's like, no, she can't sleep over. She has to go to the laundry or something in the morning.
Whatever lie she told.
Some lie, right? And that night, my mama fucked me up. She was like, didn't I fucking tell you can't sleep at your cousin's house? And I was just like, bro, I didn't ask you. She did. She was like, you told her to ask me.
How she know? Mind your business. Yeah. But like that type of stuff, like, oh, I wish my parents, like, I wish my parents, like, were a little less strict. And I'm not saying for them to let me run wild and free, because actually I took my time to enjoy certain things. Like, I didn't get worn out from the club. I was never a club person anyways, but once I hit 21, I was excited to actually drink and stuff, and to actually go to the clubs or whatever. I was excited for it. So I never cared to do the fake ID thing or anything like that. I'm not knocking anyone who has done it or whatever. We all been there, but I just waited. Because by the time I hit like 23, 24, I had people who was already over the club. I'm like, well, damn, we just kind of started the realm of it. Oh, I've been going since I was 16. I'm like, oh, well, that's, you rushed it. So,
I used to get into bars and stuff at like 19, 20.
I mean, at least 20 you wasn't, 20 you wasn't far, you wasn't far from 21. There's people who were doing it at 16. Like,
yeah, no, first off, I couldn't go to the corner store at 16 by myself. Never mind.
So even then, so as I got older, you know, I wouldn't say social media because it wasn't really a thing as of then, because we brought it up last week. All we had was what? By then, Black Panther was was a phase. By then, it was really MySpace. Yeah. Switching up your page every week, adding music, and, you know, adding your top 5 or your top 10 friends. That used to cause controversy. But yeah, like, as social media started to become a bigger thing, I would see certain things on social media like, oh, she looks nice, she looks pretty. Oh, I wish I was like that. I wish I was like this. But then realizing, like, I don't know what that woman did to get to that point.
Yeah.
I don't know what she had to do to get to that point. Like I said, whether it's scamming, who knows, some people do sell their bodies for whatever reason, for whatever circumstance. I know I'm not built for that, so I wouldn't do that. So it's like, I've learned over time, like, you know what? I shouldn't be wanting what another human being has. Yeah. But it's natural for humans. I feel like throughout humankind, throughout history of humans, we have naturally wanted something that someone else has. Some of us know how to control it, like, oh, I can't believe he or she has that, whatever, you keep it pushing. Some people, it grows and builds in them that it becomes some type of jealousy and envious of another person, to the point some people even kill for it, which is weird. Like, they even kill for it because they want what that person has, and it's like weird. And it's crazy to bring it to that. I remember one lesson I taught my students. We was talking about the Enlightenment period. It was like one of the lessons we were talking about, and this is the time period we was teaching them about, before we hit revolutions, we were talking about pretty much most of Europe, you had one ruler. You had a king or a queen ruling it. Whatever they said goes, and, you know, Catholic churches was a big thing. Yeah. So the king or mostly the king would say, you know, I get my law and rules from God and I bring it to you guys. So in a sense, using fear. So as a follower, as a follower of a church,
on religion.
But as a follower of a church, I would say, I can't go against the king. If I go against the king, I'm going against God. So that's how you kept people in control. You had philosophers who believe at the time that, you know, naturally as humans, one of the philosophers, I think his name was Thomas Hobbes, he said, naturally as humans, we're naturally violent. We will do things for whatever reason. So we do need set of rules put in place for us. We do need someone to...
We're naturally violent?
Naturally violent. He gave the list of reasons why we may become violent. One, because...
But I would think that would be due to your environment. You're not naturally that way unless your environment produces that form.
Well, listen, this is like the 1600s.
Oh, I'm thinking this is like a philosopher from now.
No. Okay. This is like a philosopher back then. This is right at the time right before like the French Revolution and all this other stuff. So, you know, the students had to debate, like, do you think we need a ruler? Do you think we need laws and stuff put in place? And, you know, some of them said, you know, Miss, due to the devices that human beings have now, if we're talking in today's context, yes, because you have people... Even with laws set in place, you have people who are still willing to kill someone and don't care if they go 25 years to life. So
I think that's all mental. What is that? Mental. Not incapabilities, but like their mental state at the time.
Mental state, but I think some humans are naturally evil.
Evil, but not like I want to go kill somebody.
Yeah. But
that's when they get mentally unstable.
Yes, you're mentally unstable, but at the same time, we don't want to go on a tangent here, but at the same time, it's like 50-50. Like, you have the environment piece, you have the mental state, but then you also have people who, it becomes to a point that, I like this that you have. Instead of me just saying, hey, where'd you get it from? I'm just using an example, guys. Like, hopefully no one does that.
She likes what I have on.
Shut up. Instead of asking where'd you get it from and me trying to get it or order it, I want it so bad that I'd rather kill you to get it. It's weird. Almost like
how do you describe that person? Because the only two things that come in my head is like your environment is telling you that it's okay to do this, and that things around you have caused you to have jealousy and envy, and then there's the mental instability. Like,
but what if
mental health issues?
Okay, so what if none of that was a factor in that person?
There will not be somebody who's envious. Like, literally, I don't think that's a natural state of a person. I think there's factors into why that person's that way. I don't think it's like I was born envious. Like,
no, I don't think no one's born envious, but I think over time, as a person, as you get older, weirdly enough, there's certain things you may want
because of your environment and what it's.
That's true, but at the same time, you become an adult. I can understand as a teenager, you depend on your parents to give you things, right?
Yep.
And it comes to a certain point, if they cannot afford it, you want it so bad. You, as a teenager, 16, 17, may not be able to get a job at that time. You rather go steal to get it, right? Yep. That I understand, but you come to a certain point when you become an adult now, you're still envious?
Yeah, because you haven't worked through your shit. You haven't worked through your shit.
So, and then you kill someone.
And you're probably still in the same environment that's causing you to be this person.
Why don't you go be a psychiatrist?
I know. You know what's so funny? I don't know if anybody's taking the I don't know if everybody's taking the personality test, but that was like the biggest, like, that is my life's purpose. Like the best job for me would be like a psychiatrist or a psychologist, a therapist or something.
I can see you doing that, but your facial expressions probably wouldn't get you a job because you probably look like really.
No, but I'm assuming with education and training and whatever that I will be able to control.
Because I'm pretty sure you gotta hide your facial expressions.
You know what's funny? I need to be careful because people find it very easy to dump on me their problems, and I'm okay with that because if I care about you, I want you to have somewhere to relieve that frustration, anger, pain, whatever. Like, I want to be that outlet for you because I care about you, and holding that in because I know I do it isn't conducive, right? Mm-hmm. It makes it worse. Like, now you just go into a downward spiral. Mm-hmm. But I realize I have to protect myself because when people keep dumping on me, I'm carrying that.
Oh, yes.
I'm like an empath. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much and I want to make sure you're okay. So I'm going to like listen to you and I'm going to carry that for you. And then they leave and I'm just like fucking drained.
You can't owe that person.
And that's why therapists have therapists.
Yeah, therapists definitely have therapists. But yes, no, but at the time, it was just a philosophy at the time as to why we need laws put in place, why we should have someone at least creating these laws, even though we know one person shouldn't have all that power, and some people power gets to their head and they become destructive. But it was something for us to have a debate in the class, and it was pretty cool to like see both sides, where another philosopher believed like we don't need to have all this stuff that you're talking about. Another one says, well, we do, because you have people who will kill for whatever reason. Someone may, and the examples that were used is based off of the language of the time. The person says someone might want your wife, and the person wants to be with your wife so bad that they kill you, or they may be something that you have that you've grown and built yourself, and the person wants it, they kill you for that. So that's why there should be rules and laws set in place. But we know in today's day and age, like a lot of the rules and laws set in place are due from philosophies from over 100 years ago, 200 years ago. But people are going to do what they want to do. But there is some type of structure. I mean, honestly, think about it. If there was no real rules set in place, I think even the most sane person, if they knew that they wouldn't serve time in jail for killing someone, especially if someone really crossed them, they would do it.
My scary ass cannot go to jail. So I'd be having to just
here's the thing. If there's no rules or laws for that, you wouldn't have to worry about jail.
No, 100%. And I think, thank God for...
It will be purged every single day. Literally.
Right.
Purged every single day.
Like, I'm too scared to go to jail.
But no, but with the what for me may not be for you type of thing, it's like... It's really, I think personally it might be draining in a sense, and it kills your spirit in a sense when you want something so bad that's really not meant for you, and you want it so bad to the point you do the most ridiculous shit, especially now with social media. You post it and you may even to a point to other people who may look desperate in a sense, or some people might look at you like, damn, I feel bad for them. This shit's sad. Like, this is what they gotta do, and they're taking it to this extreme just to get to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, what are you gonna say?
I'm just like, you're talking about social media, and I realize there's a lot of fake, there's a lot of like facades that are being put onto social media, and I'm like, but I know,
You know what's the
granted, no one's gonna post the negative shit, but don't post it like it is positive.
Yeah, of course, no one. I never get upset if someone doesn't post all the bad shit in their life, because I'm not expecting you to. And you know, that's why I always say you never know what someone's going through behind closed doors. They may be on a trip right now having the best time in their lives, but in the back of their mind, like, they don't want to go the fuck back home because for whatever thing that they're dealing with, go home after a fucking damn trip. You know, so imagine someone having to deal with some crazy ass shit, and they're posting all these nice pictures, or they're hanging up with their significant other, but guess what? Every night they fucking argue, or they're in each other's faces, or they're throwing things, they're breaking things. Cops get called every other day to their house, right? So we don't know what people actually go through, because obviously we know a lot of people are not posting the bad sides.
You want to know what's so crazy? Just talking about this, and maybe this is off topic, right? But you saying this, so I remember I talk about this man all the time. But anyways, there was a relationship that was toxic as fuck, and for our 1 year anniversary, we went on a trip, and we got into like a really big fight, like a huge fight, and we were arguing, we were doing whatever. And it was the point I was like crying and like whatever. I remember vividly that fucking night, like we were kind of okay, like we got whatever we were feeling at the time off our chest. And we were just kind of like trying to figure out, do we go to dinner together? I still can't fucking stand you right now. And I took the initiative to like try to make it like less tension. I was like, oh, let's take a picture. And there was some really cute pictures. So I posted them and I was like, this is so fake. Like, I literally was arguing.
You posted it online?
I posted it on social media.
Oh, wow.
But they were really nice pictures. But I was just realizing, like, I'm looking at those pictures. Now when I see those pictures, I mean, granted, it's archived and like somewhere. But when I see those pictures, I be thinking, like, yo, we had a fucking blowout argument. I probably cried. I know I cried. And then I had the nerve to post those goddamn pictures like we were in a good space. That's why I really, really do not envy people's relationships, because you just never know.
Yep. And at the time when, you know, how last week we were talking about like certain, like the type of abuses we dealt with in our previous relationships, like at the time when I was dealing with that type of abuse, social media like wasn't like, we didn't have Instagram as of yet. It was just Facebook at the time, but I wasn't posting anything in regards to that. But by the time Instagram came and I was with this other guy, you know, who was constantly cheating on me and stuff, it was crazy to me, because it's like, you know, I'm sitting here looking at somebody else's relationship, they're happy, like, you know, they're getting proposed to, but who knows, that nigga probably proposed to them and he still is entertaining his side chick or whatever. You know what I mean? And I mean, women cheat too, so a woman could have been entertaining her side nigga too, and the guy that treats her as his love of his life, she's putting the ring on her finger, but she's entertaining somebody else. So it's like, you don't know, like, the shady, conniving stuff people do behind closed doors. And then they're posting this, like, selfie, you know, pictures. Like, when I'm in a bad mood, I don't post nothing of myself. I won't post shit. Like, I might post a meme here and there to kiki, but I'm not posting.
Like, not like of myself.
Not of
like
myself,
whatever.
nothing. Like, if I'm not feeling like myself, I'm not posting myself. And that's not because, oh, I'm coming from a place, I already knew this. This is coming from a place of actual growth. Like, things that I had to, like, weed out from myself and realize, oh, yeah, I'm not doing that. So that's why sometimes it kind of, like, annoys me when people post, like, like, I understand. So there's two sides. When people just literally just post every single time they cry on social media, like,
that is so cringy and weird. Because
I remember someone said, wait, you took the time to tap on Instagram, tap on the app.
It's giving me tired.
Tap on the live. And you know how before you go live, it asks you, are you sure? And then you hit live and then record yourself crying. As opposed to someone who literally probably is explaining a story on their live and then probably triggered them and then you know, they get emotional. Some people do get emotional while telling a story. And that I understand. Like, so with the part of like the whole Danny Lane, the baby.
That was genuine. Like,
that was when she was talking, and you know, you can feel the, like, you can feel it.
That was okay.
That was it.
I'm talking the ones that
you're already crying. You're already crying, and you like, let me go on live. Like, that shit kills me.
That shit's hilarious as fuck.
Oh, that shit.
It's not funny because I don't know why they're crying, but it's funny that you remember when you were a kid. Your mom used to whoop your ass. And then you used to just go in the mirror and cry. And then just
staring at the mirror all stupid. Oh, God. But those be the best naps, though, after you get that ass whooping. Those be the best. Wake up all refreshed, like,
And then your mother come in and have the nerve to ask if you're hungry. Bitch, I'm hungry. I don't work the appetite crying.
You know, all this energy spent crying. But yeah, and you know, I get it. Some people, funny. They feel like social media, the people who follow them are their family. But here's the thing though, as a personality person, not just celebrities, but as a personality person, influencer, please remember the people who follow you, there's devout fans, and there's people who just follow you just to troll you. Mm-hmm. Like, pay them no mind. Like, prime example, like, the artist, Lizzo. I love her, but I hate the fact, one thing I do not like, she'll post one thing saying, you know, positivity and stuff, and then the next day she'll hop on crying. She's one of those examples. She'll cry and talk about, like, I guess how people are talking about her. The thing is, you really have to do your best to have a not strong personality.
Yeah, I don't have that right now, so be nice to me, please.
That's the reason why, the moment you start getting on my nerves, getting disrespectful on my social media, I mean, granted, people who follow me, people I know, or whatever, people who know, like, some of your family members follow me, people I'm close to, I know from a personal extent, but like, for my business pages, like the pages that are open to the public, me, especially with our podcast, me and Joseph do not play that. The moment you start getting disrespectful, which hasn't happened, thank God, it's blocked
and blessed.
Yep, that's it. We're not going.
I'm not going back and forth with no fucking body.
I am not going back and forth.
Just because I share what I share on here does not mean you fucking know me enough to even make a comment about myself.
Or even if you know how when you commented on a post and then someone else goes and replies to your comment.
Yeah, I'm not doing that either.
I'm not doing that. Like, so the other day, mind you, there was a post on one of the Haitian pages I follow, and I guess the images of the school teaching the kids like basic skills. So even in America at one point they had home ec classes where teach you how to cook, clean, all that basic skills, right?
Yeah. And
obviously they got rid of that. And there's an image in I forgot what the caption said verbatim, but it's like, should schools in Haiti be doing this? What else could be done? You know, granted how the education system is. And I said, well, it's a basic life skill. Some people their families may not be able to have the time to teach them how to do these basic skills. But I'm like, as long as the curriculum is being taught and it's an effective curriculum, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I posted that shit almost 2 weeks ago. So I'm gonna comment, because it comment recently. I guess they took the time to scroll through the comments, because that shit posted 2 weeks ago. Oh, where are they getting the detergent from? Where is this coming from? Blah, 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 blah. Our government is in shambles and all this other stuff. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. I'm well aware our government is in shambles. I am not from Haiti, but my family is. I've been there a few times, but I don't live in Haiti to know the in-depth stuff. As a historian, have I studied the history of Haiti? Yes, there's a lot of shit going on there. But I said, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Yes, there's with everything that comes into play, you have to factor in where is the resources going to come from to do that in every school. I'm well aware of that. But the curriculum needs to be taught. But at the same time, we're not leaving a space or our earth for future generations or the generation coming up behind us to find a place to do better. I mean, growing up, I always heard, you know, you're supposed to leave the world a better place for the next group of generations coming up after you. I mean, I don't know what the fuck going on. The whole world is on some fuckery shit. So it's not just Haiti, but I know Haiti has been getting the bad end of the stick on a lot of situations. But I'm like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you, but I do realize our government's in shambles. I'm well aware of that. But regardless of that, you should still provide the kids with some decent education. Because a lot of people don't finish school in Haiti past elementary school, let alone middle school. I mean, our government ain't perfect either. Our government's still in shambles too, but yet there's still education. I mean, do I believe education system needs to be revamped? Hell yeah. As an educator, I truly believe that. But I'm not going to go back and forth with a person. But I let it be very clear. I'm like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. But yes, here's some type of solution. But there's only so much I can do. I live here in Massachusetts. I'm not going to...
I think the most, I guess, productive. I can't even think of a word right now. But the best way for her to have addressed your comment should have been like, hey, this is the reason why I don't like. Here's why that is probably not feasible.
Yeah.
I think the money should be allocated in this manner, but still providing education. Like, there should have been some type of solution. Like, hey, I want to correct you because I don't think you realize, like, the lack of resources that they have. Instead, you want to, like, argue with me. Like, where's the detergent? Bitch, the same way they get detergent now. I don't know. Like,
and I understand. That's why I said, I get it. And I didn't go in on it. Like, and that's the thing with the social media aspect of it too, because it ties in. People don't take time to understand the context. And that's why I feel like a lot of us, even people from our age group that went to school, 80s babies, 70s babies, a lot of y'all, it shows that you guys struggle with your critical thinking skills. You guys struggle with that. And that's coming from a teacher's perspective. You guys struggle with that, or probably struggle with comprehension. Like, you guys see a video, and instead of taking your time to understand the details, just like a movie.
You just take a summary of it and make up
literally, they'll see a 2-second clip, and then they go in and being Inspector Gadget and giving you the full detail without even seeing the whole thing. Even in a movie. Sometimes you watch it 3 times and realize, oh shit, I didn't notice that the first time. Shit, I didn't notice it the second time. Sometimes you may have to read up on something more than once before you give your 2 cents. Some people, they hear one word, and I know the internet is big on clickbaiting. Like, you just put that title and then, ooh, let me click on it.
I mean, and it's not it.
We do it just to get more views, but in a sense, like, that's for views and we're trying to speak positively as opposed to negative clickbaiting. You know what I mean? So my thing is like, some people be quick to argue with another person's comment. Like, I'm not gonna lose.
They literally fish for the comment that they want to argue with the person. Like, okay, you have way too much fucking time. You know, it's like
way 4,000 too much fucking time. There's 24 hours in a day. I don't know how many seconds or minutes. I'm not about to count that, but I know there's 24 hours in a day. And out of all those hours, you took the time
you would do
to type.
Those people would do great on online schooling.
Yes.
You know how you have to like comment on your classmates' shit? Yeah.
No, those people would do well, especially the people who want to do paragraphs on other people's comments. They would do well, because, you know, right now I struggle with my students to even comment on each other. So they were like, yeah, I agree. I'm like, no. I need more than that. I agree. Go into detail. Give in context why you agree with this person's position. But yeah, like, some people will go back and forth. And like, okay, here's one example. I mean, I was guilty of it going back and forth a little bit, because I was like, what? Like, you know how sometimes you're really trying to ignore something and then you be like, I find it funny how, like, so it was in the context of, and this happened last year, I guess in regards to Future, one of Future's baby mamas was asking for more money, asking for a particular amount of money for the child. And I was like, I think he was trying to avoid it. I'm like, man, just pay the fucking child support. Right. And then someone said, oh, he's already paying it. But evidence came out that he wasn't paying what he was supposed to. He's like, I guess supposedly, don't quote me on this, guys. I don't remember. This happened last year. Like, he wasn't paying, he wasn't reporting enough that how much he actually made or something. He was just trying to avoid it. And I'm like, yo, just pay the child support. And some guy was trying to go back and forth with me, something about like the amount she was asking for. Listen, you lay down to have children with somebody. Like your boy has said during the dating episode, if this is not a person you want to have kids with, do not have sex with them or wear fucking protection. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with this person for the rest of your fucking life because of the child you guys have. And you can't stay in their guts. And that's something that energy will permeate your child. Kids are not stupid. Yeah. So, person kept going back and forth with me. And I said, look, as a woman, I'm not going to just side with women because I'm a woman. At the end of the day, certain things I will defend women on, especially black women. I will defend to the death of me. To the death. But at the end of the day, I feel as though if I have a child with somebody, even if they're making
men not holding other men accountable for their actions.
Exactly. It's just disgusting. Here's my thing. I think it is egregious just because the person makes millions that I'm asking for $30,000 a month for my 6-month-old. Yes, children are expensive. It does add up. But it's not $30,000 to take care of a child every month, though. It may average out within the first 3 years of their life. Yeah. It may add up to $30,000, but not no 30, 50 grand a month. No, that's egregious. I think that's a force. I never understood that. But as a man, take care of your fucking children. And there's some women who are on child support too, who the father has full custody of the child. Pay the fucking child support. And as long as the money is going towards taking care of the child, not just for clothing and food and diapers, it's to keep the heat on. It's to keep the lights on. That's your child's living in that house. Yeah. So as long as the person that is taking the money is not using it for their own satisfaction and neglecting the child, being frivolous, and being like you said, being frivolous, it shouldn't matter. As long as that child getting taken care of, they're in a clean, safe environment. They're getting food, they got hot water, they got electricity, they got heat, and, getting a decent education, if not better, it shouldn't matter. And hopefully you hope that person is saving up as well, using that money to save up for the child's future, right? Yeah. But for men or women trying to avoid child support, or whatever. And I know there's greedy people out there. I didn't know the moment if you have a child and you're already paying child support, I can't say most men or most women, but some women and maybe men, once they find out their ex is getting married, they go and request more money, because usually when they're married, they combine. I'm like, oh hell no, you're not fucking touching my money. I love kids, but you're not touching my money for that child, because guess what, I'm still gonna provide for that child when they're in my care. But I
want you to so I want to go on record by saying this is how a Virgo's brain functions. It's like we start with one thing, and we get to like a whole nother thing, right? So back to, she was making valid points and it made sense. The thread was going, but like I want to kind of get back onto the what's for me is not for you. Don't miss my yum situation.
With the don't yuck my yum thing. So it ties in with the what's for me may not be for you. So the don't yuck my yum is something that was introduced to me by my students. A couple of years ago. We would say, oh, we're creating classroom norms. Like, what should we all follow in the classroom as classmates and as your teacher? And one student said, don't yuck my yum. I'm like, oh, please explain. It was like, well, if I like something, even if it's not something you're used to or you like, you shouldn't think it's nasty or disgusting because you're not used to it. It's not part of your culture. So in a sense, you're disrespecting that person's thing by saying, ew, that's nasty, but you didn't even fucking try it. So I said, oh, that's good. I like that. And it's been this main thing, like, my students always use. And it never fails. Every student, every year, they use that line, don't yuck my yum. And I was like, I like that. Like, don't do that. And I think growing up, I was told at one point not to do that to someone. Like, you know, when you see someone's dish or you smell a dish, and it obviously some people's dishes may not smell that great, but that it may be good to that person because that's what they're used to eating and that's part of their culture. You know, it may not tickle your fancy, but still respect that person's thing that they have. Like, it may not be your thing, but just respect it. And I think honestly, if we took the time to understand what's not for me may be for you, I think we could avoid a lot of stupid beefs, even wars. Wars can be avoided. I mean, you have like wars that took place centuries ago, all because of for the sake of religion. Is like, the person doesn't, if they choose not to follow it, they don't care for it, so be it. Let it be. And at the end of the day, mostly all these religions have one thing: love your neighbor, love others, and tolerate each other. They all have the same message. If people literally sat down and like, chilled the fuck out, all these religions that people speak of or fight for, they literally have the same message at the end of the day. Let me just respect you. You're Muslim, cool. You're Christian, cool. You're Buddhist, cool. There's a few others. You're Jewish, cool. Why? Just respect other people's spaces and their views. You may not agree with it. As long as those views are not causing harm to groups of other people or oppressing people, I don't think it should be a problem at all. So what's, for me, what I like, enjoy, and love, and enjoy doing on a consistent basis or every other month or whatever case may be, it may not be your thing. And we have to understand that once we all start to realize, like, yo, what she does or what he does is not my thing.
Yeah. I've been understood that. I don't know if it's because I was being compared all the time. Yeah. So I realized, like, what's for me is not for you, and it's not for you to understand either. Like, it's, you've lived your life. Let me live mine in the manner that is best suited for me. And if I'm making mistakes along the way, please know that those mistakes are only gonna make me discover who I am in the process. Like, I can't know who I am
if I'm not
trial and tribulation. Like, not trial and tribulation, trial and error. I was having a conversation with my niece about that too, because like she's being told to do something without being asked what she wants to do. She's being told, like, they're literally trying to tell her what she should do in life, and never took the time out to be like, hey, I never had this conversation with you. Like, what do you want for yourself? How could we help you get there? You know what I mean? What resources do you think you need to get there? Instead, and I don't blame them, because I think that has something to do with their upbringing, because it was similar to mine, so we didn't really have a decision. My dad was trying to push the nurse and doctor thing on all his kids. Like,
okay, Verdi's do that too?
Oh my God,
like
so
doctor,
bad.
Nurse, engineer, lawyer, and I don't know if I'm missing any
teacher was like, I'll accept it, but I don't want it.
Yep.
But yeah, so, and I don't blame them for that, but I think they're only going to push her deeper into a hole if they keep trying to shove their thoughts, their beliefs onto her. Mm-hmm. And I think they never took the time out to be like, hey, what do you want for yourself and how can I help you get there? If you need my help. Mm-hmm. If you need me to give you space, I'll give you that. If you need me to introduce you or connect you or like network, I can do that. But telling her this is what she needs to do and not even then, I mean, this is all like bits and pieces because she was very much not trying to share. She's much like a Virgo in the sense where like she's very selective on what she
I'm
shares.
very selective on what I share.
So I'm only getting bits and pieces. So I'm not even saying that like her family is the word, like they're not offering these things. This is just what I received from her, but it just sucks because like I can see like she's very conflicted. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, well, if you need me to do anything, if you need me to introduce you or get you in spaces that you feel is places you want to be in or spaces you do want to work in, let me know. Yeah. That's the only way I can contribute to that. I can't have these conversations with your family and saying like, you guys need to do this and you guys need to do that because I'm going to be doing exactly what they're doing to her.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can do at this time is offer her the space and resources if she asks for it, or just a listening ear at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it sucks because
there's nothing wrong with offering suggestions, but at least giving when you say I think you should, maybe you should try it. At least you're giving them the option to kind of like I
think though. I would say like, hey, I noticed you like this. Mm-hmm. Is it something that you want to do? Don't say I think. Just like, hey, this is what I noticed. Mm-hmm. Because when you say I think, it's like saying like, here's my suggestion on what you should do. And not necessarily
but
here are my observations.
It depends on the person. Like for me, I may say, I think you should try this, but this is only if you like this type of thing. Like kind of throw the thing out there, not saying you should do this, and and not giving the person the option to. And that's it depends. If the person, if you give them the space to have a conversation, hey, I don't like doing this, that, and the third, but I also like this. Then you can start to. I think you should try this since you're already saying you like this, and maybe you should factor.
Okay, that's what you should say. Like,
as opposed to just jumping down the throat. Like, you need to do this. You gotta you're supposed to go to school. Like that's what we were told. Go to school.
Failed us.
Get married. And then have children, and not factor in the fact that,
and not even being that example of, like, you asked me to do something that you didn't even do. Like what?
Right. And then not even realizing, even with the school part, is hard as fuck and stressful. And then when the relationship part, it's a lot of work. And then to find the decent human being that matches you. And even then,
you know what's crazy? I've noticed a lot of the times when people have a great relationship and then they input a child, the relationship goes to shits.
Yeah. So that's another thing. You don't know if having a child might change that, and you hope it doesn't. It really takes two strong people that really understand each other, respect
and have a
solid
foundation.
And that's the thing. A solid foundation helps that building go up.
I'm such a mama bear when it comes to my nieces, right? So for the longest time, I think it was up until like maybe 6 years ago, I stopped doing this. I used to protect them. I used to be like, no, don't do that because this is what's going to happen. And no, you shouldn't do that because that's like the wrong choice. And you need to do this and you need to do that. And I realized they rebelled even more when I did that. And I was trying to keep like tight. Like,
girl, that's like the parents saying, I don't like him, you shouldn't date him. Girl,
I was doing that.
That was me.
I'm not
breaking up with him.
And then when I had a conversation with my niece, the oldest one, and she kind of just like opened up, I was like, damn, I need to like, it's so dope to see them make mistakes and they have this aha moment.
Yeah.
And then they just like use that aha moment.
I like the aha moment.
Oh my God. It makes me emotional because when I see them like growing, because they're older. So like the oldest is 26, 24, 22,
shit,
21. 26. Yeah, my babies are grown. But like when I see them or they tell me that aha moment and I see like the light bulb strike in their head, or now they're just like open to the space and they're just like excited about what's to come, even though they did experience a failure or a mistake. That mistake, that failure, that hiccup introduced them to a whole nother space they didn't even know was available to them. Mm-hmm. It's like, it makes me emotional.
Sorry,
I just fucking upset.
And I'm looking down my phone. I was just checking in with my niece because my great nephew, he was sick. I think he got the little stomach bug because he threw up a few times this morning. And like he threw up in the morning, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just the milk, and he was jumping around. Kids they don't know. Once you eat, you move around a lot. The food doesn't settle.
And he's a boy, so he's probably active,
climbing shit. So then he threw up again, and I'm like, And then I think right before I left to come here, she said he threw up again, and I went to check on him, and I was like, does he have a fever? I touched him. She's like, no, he doesn't feel well. I'm like, you know what? I think he actually have a little stomach bug, because it's either you get the other end, or you throw up. And I caught that as an adult, and I can only imagine. What's so cute though? He's only one and some change. I do not like saying, oh, he's 19 months. I don't do those. So dumb. I hate it.
After 1 year old, I'm just...
Yeah, he's almost 1.5. And my niece told me, like, he felt it coming, and he went like this, like he made this shit, like he made the action.
Like, oh my God, like, this is gonna happen.
This is happening. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's only one, and he's able to, like, he feels it, because as an adult, I already know how it feels to have something try to come back. Like, oh my God, here it comes. But for him, he can't speak, say, mommy, I'm about to throw up. But he shows, like, my niece was like, he was like this. And it came, and he's showing her. I'm like, oh my God, my little baby, my little munchkin. He's a COVID baby. He was born in June 2020. These COVID babies are something else. They know too much.
They're already 2 years in advance.
I babysat him yesterday. He spilled some milk, so I went to go get paper towel. He grabbed some tissue paper, the tissue box, and he squatted down to like kind of wipe it. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, Kaden. Thanks for your help. He didn't wipe anything, but I'm like, thanks for your help. I appreciate it. I love him, but
I can't wait because my sister's pregnant. So all my nieces are fucking grown now. They do their own thing.
They're having kids.
They have no use for me anymore. Outside of just like dumping stuff on me. Not when I say dumping, I mean like talking to me about things, which I honestly really, really fucking enjoyed them now than I did when they were kids, because they were fucking annoying. Now that they're adults, like, we're best friends. I think, I hope I'm not wrong. Y'all can let me know when y'all watch this. But my sister's pregnant, and so now we have like a new baby, and I get to see another niece grow up and just become her own person.
Your sister does have a baby?
Yeah, my sister. But you know.
I have to think about it, the order. So, wait, your niece that has Max, that means you're a great aunt.
I'm a great aunt, yeah.
Okay, I have to think about the order. Okay, yeah, that's why
I always forget that because he's my godson, so I never say like, oh, my great nephew. So
I don't say great nephew either. I say, oh, that's my nephew. But I'm like, that's
it's
like
not exhausting to go through all that.
The whole list, but it's a blessing to. Who would have thought at 30 something I would have been considered a great aunt. Great aunt, they're like old and like you see black and white pictures. Not me. Not me. Acting like a whole hood rat. Not me.
I literally grew up with my nieces. They see me do some shit, and
no, me and my niece grew together. Like, we're 3 years apart. It's like weird. Like, we'll
have a whole segment on our nieces, because I think I'm obsessed with my nieces. Like
this certain conversation you told me, I'm like, ew. Like, I don't know. I'm like, ew. Yeah. But no.
I like that we talk about like everything. We talk about sex, talk about boys, we talk about life, we talk about.
But when she talked about sex, I was still in my 20s, so I was still immature. So I was like, ew, no, I don't.
I mean,
I'm like,
I was sad as fuck when they told me they were having sex. I was like, that means you're older. That means you're getting old. But I like that they come to me and talk to me.
That's good. Yeah. So, like, for this episode, of course, per usual, all our episodes, we always go off on a tangent. We always try to tie it together.
That's how our brain works.
That's how our brain works. Like, I literally, my boyfriend already understands. Like, I can start telling him one story about something, but then I add in another story that relates to the current story.
But you can't just tell him the tidbit. You gotta tell him the whole story
so it makes sense. So he's used to it by now. He's not used to it.
I remember my ex used to be like, get to the point.
I can't.
I'm like, I know, but like, in order for you to understand the point, I need to explain this.
The other point that correlates to it. It's like it's like a map. If you were to walk into my room, you see it in those movies. The person has the maps and the lines connect.
It's just a whole bunch of like.
That's how our brains work. Yeah. Like you're trying to.
But it all makes sense. It all comes full circle.
We'll get to it. I think it makes sense to us. Everyone is like, yo, did they talk too fucking much? But no,
Peggy be over here like before podcasting. This is probably why she thought of me when we were podcasting. But she used to come here and we would talk for hours.
Yo, for hours talking.
And at one point, I'm like, how am I gonna tell her to get the fuck out? How the fuck am I gonna tell her to leave? It's like 11 p.m.
Girl, we're in our 20s and they're ready to kick me out at 11. That's the prime.
I know. You ever seen that meme where it's it is like a Virgo's birthday party and they had like the balloons and said, please leave by 9. That would be me. Like subtle, but not like in your face.
Yep. Like, oh,
I'm not gonna verbally tell you, but you see the signs.
It says, please leave by 9. But yes, to wrap it up, like what's for me may not be for you. It's to truly understand like what I got, what I have. It doesn't come easy. Nothing comes easy. Like I remember my.
Oh wait, can I mention this because I've been wanting to say this, but I remember I was financially in like shambles, right? And Peggy was having all of these like extra like little businesses. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is motivating her to do all this shit? Because I'm exhausted watching her. But I was like, I want that for myself. I want residual income. I want secondary, third, four incomes, right? But I'm just like, I don't have like my brain cannot function in this space where there's too much going on. And so there was one point where I was like, damn, I want that for myself, but how do I get that? And then when I seen the work, like just the podcasting alone, I think you gotta fucking understand this shit takes time. Time. And so I can only imagine what it's like to run multiple businesses efficiently with great customer service. So like just because you see her juggling all these things doesn't mean there's not mad fucking work that goes into that shit. And I think that's what people forget. Like they want what you have, but don't realize the work that has to go into it.
And there's some days like it got to the point I had to check myself. There are times where an order would come in at 9 p.m. I'm in bed, I'm like, oh, I can get up and go process it, and I'll just throw it in the mail, or I'll give it to my boyfriend to drop at the post office for me. And I'm like, Peggy, it's after 9. Your office hours are closed. It's okay. Wait till fucking tomorrow. I already put on the website 1 to 3 days to process. So why am I rushing it? But I still want to give efficient customer service because some people like, damn girl, I got it the next day.
Yeah, like all my friends that I like threw to you for Lip Spot, they're like, yo, the customer service is elite. Like I got my shit literally the next day. Like it's like Amazon Prime.
Yo, literally. So and mind you, it's just one person doing it, but my boyfriend does help. Like he does drop off the packages for me and stuff like that. So
it's a lot of work.
But it is a lot of work. So that's why like the last few months I felt burnt out because I was on this always on the go. People are like, I don't know how you do it. You're in school, you're a teacher, and then you're running these businesses. And then when I added like the tutoring, bitch, you added another business?
When I seen that shit, I was like, who the fuck is this?
That's why I make sure that put my name in the bio so people know what's me. Like, this bitch, here she go add another business. But no, I started to feel burnt out and I had to take some time off for mental health because it was like a lot for me because now that I'm finally slowing down, I'm not dealing with school. I'm back in the building working and it was like a lot for me. So I was like, time to take a break, give my brain a chill pill. So now I'm learning to, follow the processing orders that I actually put on my website. I have to honor the things that I'm saying, right? If I'm telling people I'm only open from 8 to 3 to take inquiries, I need to respect the time that I create for myself. So with that, like for what's for me may not be for you thing, like you said, like you may want, like you said, you may have wanted all those residual incomes, but like, oh, I don't have the mental capacity for that. I
don't even think I have the time for that.
Yeah, so and then imagine you trying to do it, or imagine you being envious of that, right? And then you realize, shit, I don't
even enjoy this.
Actually being thrown in it, you're like, shit, I don't want this. Fuck this shit and cancel everything. Like, fuck it, sorry guys, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. So that's why we have to be very cognizant of the fact that certain things may look smooth. And it's that person, like I told people, like I was fighting for my life while I was doing my master's. Like I was
and like, she did it so effortlessly. She would send me things like, yo, I just got an A in this class. I'm like, bitch, how the fuck?
Like, and some of those classes I was getting A's and I was fighting for my life. Like when the professor would send the work back, it was like, oh, it's missing this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Wow. But okay.
You made it look so easy, and I think that's another thing. When people make it look so effortless, you're like, I could do that.
Yeah, and I was like, no, that's why I tell you, don't ask me for no doctorate degree because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm stopping at master's. That's it. You're going to get this M.Ed. That's it. You're not going to get the Ed.D. Nope. Dr. Volsi is not it. Nope. Maybe my future children, if they want to accomplish that, maybe if they want to, that's on them. But no.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but after you get a doctorate, it doesn't stop there. Like, you have to, like...
With the doctorate, you got to publish and write books. No, I don't want to fucking write a book.
You gotta do a lot. Like, it just doesn't stop.
And it's even more than that. Like, the first 2 years is this, someone explained it to me. The first 2 years is actually the classes, and then the 7 to 10 years is what you're working on your doctorate degree, doing research. Sometimes it gets sent back to you. I'm like, no, I'm done. So if I can't do it in 3 years, I don't want it. So so I see other people getting their doctorate degree, and they're Black women, Black men, and I love that for them, and I want to see more.
Yes, my friend.
I love it, but I don't want it for my. I don't love it for myself. I don't want it. So, like you said, we don't know the hard work, whether it's a good hard work or negative hard work that the person does to get to where they're at, because we really don't know what people do behind closed doors. Yeah. So like you said, it looked effortless. It looked like I was doing it effortlessly, but I was like fighting for my fucking life, doing all that shit, right? And then dealing with my own personal issues, dealing with things like, oh God, Peggy, you know, what's the next step? What are you trying to do for yourself? Dealing with like my mother being sick last year around this time when I was supposed to have my winery event on a particular day, and I had to reschedule it for a different date because my mother was in the hospital. I had to do surgery. It's like a lot of things that were going on that obviously I'm not gonna post online because I don't post everything online. But y'all saw the A's and B's, but didn't see me crying ugly at night. Like, what is what we doing with this shit? Like, and you did it, and I did it, and I'm fucking done.
Wait, you did it. You did the. It's not expedited. Like, what's the
expeditiously?
No, when you did like your masters in 1 year. What do they call it? Like
Accelerated program. I did it in 1 year. They told me, oh, you can do it.
She legitimately like, I want to see what I'm capable of.
Not even that. I
it's said, like putting up the treadmill speed and just seeing how far you can go.
Yeah, I almost fell off that shit. But no, literally, like, I didn't want to do 2-3 years because I'm like, after the second year, I'll probably be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. Shrug my shoulders and be like, whatever. Yeah. But no, what we see, what people are doing, even if it's not even on social media, you see someone pulling up in a nice car, they're probably in fucking debt for all we fucking know. That car payment's probably you got people rolling around in 2008 Benz and their car note is $900 for fucking what? Because the credit fucking sucks. So instead of them working on their credit, they want to floss and show off in a Beamer that you cannot fucking afford. And that's not even including, the $900's not even including the insurance they have to pay every month.
Oh my God, you saying that. So there was a video that I watched, sorry if I hit the mic, but a guy was giving you like a timeline. So he was 16, got his first job, like a retail job, $15. He's like, oh my God, thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. So he buys himself clothes or whatever. Then he gets a salary job that was paying him $50K at like 20 something years old. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. So he buys himself like a decent car. Then, like, in his 40s, they give him a VP position. And they're like, okay, no, this is just like this is like TikTok.
Yeah.
VP position at 40, and he's making $150K. And, of course, that goes up, obviously, over the years. Then when it was time for him to retire, it's like, you can't retire because you don't have no money. And it was people, when they get the money, like, when they work hard to get that salary raise or whatever, they up their spending. He's like, because when he became a VP, he purchased a home. And so now he has all these like expenses and not planning for retirement. And he can't retire at 65 anymore. And I think that's what a lot of us do. We think we have this money. It's here. I can see it. It's tangible. So I get to spend it.
Yep.
But we're not even taking into consideration what the future is going to look like. Why not like invest or save or whatever? And I feel like a lot of people do that now. They rather floss now, show off now, not really thinking about like what that's gonna look like in a couple of years. Like, this is temporary. This like image that you're trying to portray, this attention that you're trying to gain is temporary. What the fuck are you doing for yourself come retirement?
Yeah, because like you said, like, I'm guilty of that. Like, every time I got paid more, I was like, oh, I got more money in my pocket, I can go spend more. But I've been learning how to, but most of my money is gone towards bills because it's like, I don't want to like owe anybody any money or anything any money. So that's why my credit score went up. And I didn't know how high it was until I went to go get this card. It's like, yeah, your credit score is 7, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I didn't even know.
Yeah, you was like, goddamn, how much is this car payment going to be?
Right. So the rate was immaculate. So even then, and mind you, I wasn't rushing to go get a car. I said I do want to get a new car.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, but my car happened faster than I expected.
My car got into her feelings and decided, all right, bitch. My car's like, this bitch
got me fucked up,
and then decided to fuck up on the highway, and I was like, oh fuck. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, we're not saying don't get yourself nice things. You like what you like. I know some people who literally only fuck with Beamers, who only fuck with Benzes, who only fuck with Audis, whatever, or only fuck with Toyotas, Hondas, whatever you like. But don't do it to impress people. Do it because you want that for yourself. Like, that's what you wanted. You loved it. I want it for myself. That's what I'm going to purchase. As long as it's within your means. Like, we've always been told, live within your means. I get it. You always want to save, but you also understand that you can't take it to the grave. That's all that I tell myself. Like, every time when I'm about to swipe my card for a big picture, I'm like, well, I can't take it to the grave, so swipe. Like, but at the same time, being mindful of the fact, like, I might need it for a rainy day, so I tell myself, Peggy, you don't need it. Like, I literally have to tell myself, you don't need that.
Yeah.
You got food. I literally have to literally tell myself, Peggy, you got food at home. At 35, telling myself, you got food at home when your parents used to tell you, no, there's food at home. Like,
the mental fortitude that you need to be like, I'm going to eat the food that's at home.
That's in the fridge already cooked, but you just didn't want it anymore.
Like, I don't want no fucking leftovers.
I don't want it. I want lobster.
I
want a seafood boil. But no, I'm good for that.
Yo, I've been dying. Yo, I need to treat myself. I'm over here talking shit. I don't need to treat myself, but I want to.
And I was telling her, you deserve this shit, bitch. Like, you should get that. But no, like, seriously, like, what we see people doing, whether they're flossing and they're dead ass broke, or they generally did this because they want to and they love and that's what for them. We don't know what it took for them to get there. We don't know what their struggles are after they get to that point. Yeah. So we shouldn't be envious or jealous. If anything, maybe it should motivate you to want to do something better for yourself. But you can't want to do exactly what they're doing because you don't know what it took for them to get there. You don't know what mental capacity they're at the moment for them to handle. You may not be able to handle that shit. Like, there's certain things I see people do, I'm like, oh no, that's not for me. I don't want that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know what they did to get to that point, and I will not be envious of that. So of course, to close out, we always add, a business shout out at the end of our episode. So this week's shout out will go to my nail tech.
That was mad abrupt. Now that I just think about it.
Really? You wanted to close out with something?
I don't know, but it was kind of like, all right, anyway, so carry on.
Yeah, but no. So this is my nail tech. Of course, I haven't had my nails done because I have been trying to give my nails a break. I always have my claws done.
Girl.
I've been giving them a break.
Don't talk when you're away from the mic.
Sorry. No, I think they can still hear my big ass mouth. But I'm just giving them a break so they're not done right now. I got nubs. But this week's shout out is for my nail tech. For my nail tech, nailed by N. So it's underscore NAILED by BY underscore N. She only has an IG page, so check her page out.
We will put it in the description of our YouTube channel and all of our where we listen to podcasts. Yes,
so that information will go on the Instagram in the description piece. So yes, she's a nail tech located in Boston, Rosendale to be precise. If you want to book her, check out her website. Not a website, her IG page for more information. And also, we always end with a quote.
She got me fucked up. She thought I was gonna read this quote.
I'm gonna read it because my handwriting is chicken
I need to start putting it in my phone.
Please do, because my writing is horrible.
I want to see. Can I try to read your handwriting? I'm gonna die.
Go ahead.
What's right for you may not be right for me, and vice versa. And rewind, because what the hell is a versa?
Vice versa.
But it sounded weird when I said it out
loud. I know, certain things sound weird.
What may be right for me may not be right for you, and vice versa. But what is not right for either of us is to be stripped of the freedom to choose.
That means you can read it. I wrote this.
Wait, but why is it on 2 pages, bitch? Because I got all the space.
Because I thought I was gonna put more notes, so I do it in advance. Don't show people my thinking process. I literally leave space because sometimes I'll be writing notes in between. So I wrote it 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Do I want to do this over? Okay.
Please.
I'm trying to do it seamlessly, so it just sounds good. Okay. What?
I didn't do anything. I'm waiting.
What is right for you may not be right for me, and vice versa. But what's not right for either of us is to be stripped of the freedom to choose what is right for ourselves. And with that being said, guys, I appreciate you listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, click that bell notification so that you get to see when we post and you can get reminders. Please share and show us some love.
Until next time, peace, y'all.